Rachel Zegler, her stands are in the news because what they're saying right now is that Rachel Zegler is a victim of a sexist double standard in Hollywood because of a past flippant remark she made about getting cast in a role, also being compared to a similar comment made by actor Jacob Elordi, and people are claiming that this is for sexist reasons.
Yeah. So Jacob Elordi, you might know him from Euphoria. I hope you didn't watch that show. You might know him from playing Elvis. So he was recently on a red carpet and he was asked what he looks for in the roles that he accepts. And he says, you know, it's just a job. I'll take whatever they give me. Do you want to play this clip for us?
Let's play both of them. We'll play his and then we'll play hers. So here's his clip right here.
I mean, I'll just play what they give me. You know, I need a job.
Yeah, that was all it was. So it's kind of ironic because he also didn't take an opportunity to audition for Superman. So clearly he doesn't take whatever is offered to him. But
here's hers.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What made you want to step into this world of DC heroes? I needed a job. I'm being so serious.
Now, I want to point out that I find this argument to be unbelievably intellectually dishonest because nobody that's been criticizing Rachel Zegler has been criticizing anything to do with this clip. I actually found this clip unbelievably endearing because one of the things I hate more than anything is when these actors lie about loving comic books.
Like, what if Rachel Zegler sat there and lied through her teeth saying that I was a comic book nerd growing up and I was obsessed with DC Comics and it's my dream to play a character in the DC universe. It's just a lie. So, I mean, I don't have any problem with this clip. I don't think anyone did. But here is their argument. He's quite literally saying exactly the same things Rachel Zegler has been getting crucified for.
No, that is not what she's
Another one of Jacob Elordi's comments is him saying he felt dead inside while filming the Kissing Booth movies for Netflix. But when Rachel Zegler says something similar, oh, well, she's raked over the coals. And Francesca Ramsey, of all people, made a TikTok about this. She said Jacob Elordi recently gone viral after saying he took a role because he needed a job. When I mentioned on TikTok that Rachel Zegler was dragged for saying the same thing, folks accused me of misrepresenting the backlash. So let's play this.
Misrepresenting the backlash.
Let's play this video from her about this sexist double standards.
I don't say shit on the internet without having the receipts to back it up. So let's roll the clip and then let's look at some of the responses.
If we ever see you step into the Marvel universe, I would love a job. That's all I have to say. I'll take a job.
We have a young woman who's 15 seconds into her career saying, oh yeah, I just did it because I needed the money. It's like, listen, to be in this industry is not a right, it's a privilege. And the fact that you are in this blockbuster movie that's opening in hundreds of theaters and there's a team of people, hair, makeup, wardrobe to make sure you look great, to walk red carpets. There are people folding sweaters and working in the back of kitchens and doing all kinds of jobs that they don't like for money. You are working in your passion, my dear, and you are getting this opportunity, and I think she could have had more tact.
Here are just a few of the comments that were left on that clip. Sounds desperate. Rachel's an ungrateful brat. Any movie will flop. Snow White is already in line to plummet because of her toxicity. I hope her phone does not stop. It was very much dumb on her end to say that. This defense didn't age well. The actor is an ungrateful shithead. This is a prime example of someone in it for the money and fame and not the actual art of filmmaking. So cringe. So once again, Jacob Elordi is being praised for his realness. He needed a job, so he took a job. But Rachel saying the same thing is seen as ungrateful. The reality is, y'all don't need much of an excuse to shit on a woman in Hollywood or in any industry for that matter. I don't know Rachel Zegler, but if homegirl needs a job, she gonna take a job. And if Jacob Elordi needs a job, he's gonna take a job. And there's nothing wrong with saying that.
Yeah. So this clapback from the Rachel Zegler stans makes entirely zero sense because all of the clips that were circulating of Rachel Zegler that attracted this hate train, it was about her comments on Snow White. It was from her Variety interview where she said that the prince was a stalker, that she's bringing a modern edge to the movie, that it's outdated and needs a modern update. Where she said that this movie is not about falling in love, it's about taking your power and becoming a leader. All of these things, her saying that she was scared of Snow White when she was growing up and expressing distaste for it. The clip of her saying that she took a job because it's a job was not any part of that discussion, and I hadn't seen that clip until now.
Neither had I.
So they're totally misrepresenting what Rachel Zegler has been getting criticized for this entire time. And another comparison they're making is a comment that Adam Driver recently made when he was asked about cheesy crash scenes in his new movie Ferrari. He responded to an audience member saying, "F you, I don't know. Next question." And a lot of people thought that was really funny. He wasn't really criticized for it. And one person says, Rachel Zegler facing an entire hate campaign right now for her non-existent attitude in interviews, but men get to just flat out say F you to a fan in front of a whole crowd unprompted and get called badass and praised like that's wild. It's just intellectually dishonest, like you said. The hate that Rachel Zegler has been getting is all about crapping on Snow White, the original fairy tale, and not showing respect for the people who enjoyed the original. It had nothing to do with her minimizing it down to a job. We all know that they do this to make money because this is what they do for a living. There's nothing wrong with that. I really don't care whether an actor has a passion for storytelling or filmmaking as an art form. That has nothing to do with it.
Actually, the comment saying I took a job because it was available to me is probably more is going to resonate more with the average everyday American than somebody who's pretending as if getting into acting because deep and intellectual storytelling means so much to you. Because the sad fact of the matter is that for most people, when they get up and go to work every day, they're not going to a job they're passionate about or that they feel strongly about. They're going to a job to put food on the table at home. I feel like what they don't understand is that like superheroes for men, like the comparison I was making there, you're not supposed to just take a superhero role because you took a superhero role for men. For women, likewise, you're not supposed to take a Disney princess role just as a job. It's supposed to mean more than that because it actually carries more weight in society. We have a long history of fairy tales. Disney has this long history. Superhero characters have 80 plus, 90 plus years in the cultural zeitgeist. You're essentially becoming a caretaker for this property that means a lot to a lot of fans. So you're supposed to show respect for that property by showing that you're proud of the opportunity to do that.
Sure, what
That's
you're saying,
a little bit different.
What you're saying more so applies to the people who are involved in the writing and the filmmaking in these properties. The people that are writing the rebooted Snow White have more responsibility for being caretakers of that property than just the person who's the talent on screen representing it to the public.
I believe, no, and somebody in this says, Brett, it's a paycheck. I understand that. I'm saying that what they actually feel and what the companies are going to expect them to put out there for us are different things. I don't expect every one of these people to be Henry Cavill, who loved playing The Witcher and then finally got a chance to play The Witcher, right? I don't expect that of most of these people. But these production companies, these agents and these PR firms are going to expect you to fake it till you make it and pretend like you care because that's the game you play.
Well, director Phil made such a great point when he was on the show with us a couple weeks ago. He said, like, Rachel Zegler probably was so stunned at the response to her comments because she's going into an industry where this has been the norm. People disrespect the stories that they're involved in all the time.
Yeah, but they lie. They lie and they say, oh, I love this property, and then they change everything about it. So actually, it's even more two-faced than that. They lie and say, I grew up loving this character. I grew up loving reading about Superman, and then plop, they change everything about it in the movie.
The point is, women in Hollywood are allowed to and celebrated for waxing poetic about their feminist principles all the time, and man-hating. That is totally praised and celebrated every time that they have the opportunity. So I'm sure that she was surprised. It's like, oh, why me? Like, why am I the one getting criticized when all these other female stars are saying the same shit? If anything, maybe she was failed in some sense by the PR team for this project, who didn't advise her on what to say. They didn't prepare her for what questions that she's going to be asked. And also, I'm sure that the story was written terribly, so it's going to be hard to save it anyway. But now they've corrected course, and I'm sure she's gone through a boot camp of how to go through these interviews now, because you can tell. I sent you this clip from an interview with The Wrap that says Rachel Zegler shares how honored she is to do what she does for a living, because she needs to correct the narrative.
This won't work now, though, because people are going to smell PR from all over it.
I did when I watched this.
You know, it's such a privilege to get to bring art to millions of people, and bringing art that means so much to millions of people, like the Hunger Games franchise.
She went to the Tom Cruise
It's not
School
lost on me
of
what an honor it is
Yeah.
to get to do what I get to do for a living. And as I continue in this industry, I'm always starstruck. I mean, I try not to show it because you want to be cool, but I mean, Viola Davis was on this set, and like I didn't go up to her until we met at an airport lounge months later because I was so in awe.
You can tell
really
when
what
you're
you learn
watching
in
this.
those moments is that they're human
This
beings
moment
just like
was
you,
obviously
and that
scripted
they're
for
also
her.
just trying to get their flight to New York, and I feel really blessed to have those moments, but they just remind me that I'm still in my body and that I'm grateful for every moment, and so I'm grateful to still be a fan first.
Until she actually
They told her what to say.
Until she actually addresses what was said in those specific interviews, everyone's going to call BS. She would have to actually talk about what happened in those Disney Plus or in those D23.
To be honest, if Rachel Zegler came out and said, especially now that the strike is over and she has the opportunity to say this, if she came out and said, look, I made some really off-color comments about this movie and I regret it terribly.
Yeah.
I was advised to say certain things that weren't even true to what the story is. And I actually really appreciate that I have this opportunity. And I'm sorry that I crapped on it for all of you people that love it. And I'm going to try to not do that anymore. Mm-hmm. If she said that and was just totally honest and upfront, I would actually really appreciate it. And I'm sure that I'm not alone in that sentiment. I'm sure a lot of people would respond positively. Granted, there is a faction that would not forgive her for anything. Yeah. And I would still be cautiously optimistic, that's for sure. But if the PR teams here were really smart, they would tell her to do that.
Yep. Also, there is a sad, inescapable truth that nonchalant and aloof works in guys and it doesn't in women.
When when Adam Driver says F you, I don't care, whatever,
just like
that's cool.
Just like warm and sweet works for women,
yeah,
but not for men. Newsflash, shocking turn of events, men and women are different. They are expected of different things in society. They have different roles in society. We look at them differently and we judge them accordingly. But you have about 30 years of Hollywood trying to tell you that the best woman is to just be a man. Therefore, you get into situations like this and it doesn't work. It's a shocking turn of events. I found what she said at the beginning about needing a job to be the most endearing thing she's done. That was more blue collar than anything else she did in any of these other interviews. So, yeah, it's men and women are different. You can't change it. That's just the way things are. I don't think they would ever let her address the Snow White controversy in the way that you described, which is sad because it is exactly what she would need in addition to the change in structure for her future interviews to win people back to their side. And what I think people have failed to realize sometimes is just how much the average fan wants to be lied to. What I mean by that is when Disney says, we're making The Mandalorian, we know how much you hated The Rise of Skywalker, we know how much you hated Solo, we know how much you hated everything we did with J.J. Abrams, and they put Luke Skywalker on screen for 15 seconds at the end of season 1 of The Mandalorian, and people were more than happy to come back. Not everyone, but plenty of people are unbelievably forgiving because of how much these franchises mean to them. I say all the time, lie to me. Like, I don't need you to be perfect. I don't need you to be unbelievably genuine because I'm not going to believe you anyways. I need you to do good storytelling and you can win a lot of people back very, very easily by doing that. When it comes to these interviews, I think that she could do that if she actually addressed the Snow White concern, but I don't think they will ever let her do that.
I mean, what would be the repercussions if she did on her own account? They can't fire her. So, I mean, take the risk. If I were advising her, I would say do it anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's...
I had to watch The Force Awakens recently because I'm still continuing my...
Your journey?
My journey with Star Wars.
Yeah. How's that going?
Gosh, that was bad.
Are you enjoying it as a whole, though? Do you at least get... Even if it's not necessarily for you, do you get where the cultural impact came from?
Now that I've watched the original and the prequels, yes. After watching The Force Awakens... I mean, I'm not even saying this from the perspective of someone that's so emotionally invested in it. It's just crap. Like, it's just bad content.
Yeah.
So, just from that perspective, like, what a mistake that was. And then I'm trying to go in order of chronological release. So I tried to get through Rogue One after that. And I was like, oh, so it's just a whole new crop of other characters that we've never heard of again.
Yeah.
And there's not even a cameo at the end to tie it in a bow. And I couldn't finish it. I'm going to try, but yeah, what a steaming pile of crap.
So we'll see how she whoever her PR team is, whoever Rachel Zegler's PR team is earning their paycheck. I also don't buy this argument that people are saying that she sunk the Hunger Games franchise. I don't think the average person, you're in your own echo chamber if you think that when you go to that theater, somebody has a strong opinion on Rachel Zegler.
Other than us.
Brie Larson, maybe. That went fairly nuclear, right? Like but for Rachel, they're like, who? Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.